Hey guys, I'm going to Seattle again tomorrow, and considering it wasn't quite so bad as I thought it would be, time to risk a Rolex.
Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
Could try to play it, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody.
You know what, I was punting between Explorer 36, Explorer 2, and last time I took the FXD. I do have a nice dinner to go to, so I do want something a little bit nicer. And this is really another one of my summer watches, white dial, a little bit of color, keeps it interesting. Now, or you may not know, I did buy an orange rubber beast strap for this for summertime. The thing that I like about the strap, and don't like, is that it really cheapens the look of the watch. It really does. But cheap and fun are sometimes interchangeable. I just wanted to give a quick close-up look as to what I was talking about. I don't like when I look down at the rubber strap, and because of it not being as well structured, it sort of flares out. It's got sort of concave look because it just doesn't have the structure of, say, a real bracelet. And this is where I believe Oysterflex has an advantage, that the structure isn't being provided by this elastic. So it's hard to see with this backing it, but this is quite sort of curved. That gives it a very sort of cheap look. To me, a premium strap would sort of not have this curvature, would have maintain a nice, either flat, which is supposed to be this profile, or a convex, not a concave profile. So for example, this one, a cheap $12 strap from, for a plastic Chinese watch, it doesn't have as much curvature, and because of the design, there's a little bit more bulk in the center. I'd love to see this kind of strap on Rolexes, but it's just not going to happen. This is $280 if I recall correctly. This is $12, and with rubber and plastic straps, it's all about scale. That's all there is to it. The molds for each of these are going to cost, tens of thousands of dollars, if not $100,000 in the whole process to get the mold set up, and you have to amortize that cost over how many watches you can sell it for. Moon swatches, they've sold literally millions of these. I think 4 million. In addition to all of the other, real steel moon watches. Explorer 2s, 226570, the anniversary. This is a rare watch, guys. It's rare. And look, I'm not trying to say this is like highly coveted watch. This is very much a misunderstood watch. You try get one in your deal at your AD, they probably get maybe a handful a year. I would even guess that they get less of these than they do Daytonas. It took me 6 months to get this watch, and I'm pretty sure I was quote unquote next person in line. Now things happen, but they're not getting enough to say like, oh, we'll get one next week or the week after, even if you're VVVIP. It's just they don't make that many, and you're never going to see a huge market for rubber straps on these. So this is my carry-on gear. 2-night stay, 3 days, business, meet some friends. Yeah, it's the laptop bag, variables bag, whatever. Everyone's got that. But $5 foldable backpack, This thing is cheap. It doesn't look like anything, and it really doesn't carry anything. The main point is I'm not carrying a roller these days. The amount of times they're trying to check those in, just a hassle. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a little liberating. Basically, today's roller is yesterday's 30-kilogram bag. So it's early. Let's get through this bullshit. Rolex.
Here. Is it the same?
Hey, just going through SLU. This is sort of like main Amazon campus. There's not much else out here. So yeah, flight in this morning was easy. And as you can see, yeah, I took the strap off the Explorer 2. Yeah, Rubber B. I gave you a second chance. I don't know. I just felt it looked cheap. Just looked cheap. So today's Prime Day, and that means there's a lot of teams here who are like, this is game day. You know, it's really big. And it's definitely the case with my old organization. So I'm paying them a visit, saying hi. The person who I collaborate with most, I haven't actually seen in person in a long time, like maybe years at this point. Overall, I'm feeling very coordinated. Camo hat, you know, Explorer 2. I don't know. In my head, there's still a lot of blaze orange on it, even though it's just a hand. And then blaze orange straps on the Crocs. The blaze orange didn't make it to the watch, but it made it to the Crocs. That's what's important, guys. Okay, just making my way up to the nearest bus stop. Decided to bring a light jacket just in case I needed to cover up the goods around some undesirable company. Okay, the streetcar was actually not bad. I mean, it was only at the last stop that there was, you know, some derelicts that popped on, but there certainly wasn't anyone camping in there. It didn't smell. All right, Jade Garden. This place has had a rough time through COVID. In fact, I believe the owner was attacked. Wouldn't surprise me if this place is closed. I've boarded up. I think it's just for protection. I think they might be open. We'll see. Okay, guys, here it is. Real deal. Shumai. And some chive dumplings, pan fried. It's gorgeous, isn't it? So what I love about this place is I describe it as the Ben and Jerry's of dim sum. Just chunky pieces, just gorgeous. So as you can see, instead of like mincing it until it's beyond all recognition, there's like entire prawns in here. Big ones, jumbo. Okay, this is Pioneer Square. Normally I would expect this to be just completely full of homeless people, but you know, it doesn't look that inviting, but I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Okay, so what trying to find my bus stop turned into just walking on home. I'm not really close, but that's a university over there, which basically means I've already passed like the most dangerous part. There is Pike and Pine coming up ahead, but I think if I scoot up to 5th and 6th Avenue before making my way to Pike and Pine, all will be pretty safe. So this is 5th Avenue, quite picturesque. If you look, let's go this way, all the way down there, you see the Westin all the way at the top. That's where I was staying last week, not today though. 5th Avenue, it's kind of a little bit nicer than all of the other avenues. I don't know if that's like an American thing, you know, like Saks on 5th, like 5th is known as being a good street in a city, but I doubt it necessarily came originally from Seattle, but sure enough, 5th is a relatively safe street. And so over here, for all of the millionaires and billionaires in Seattle, Ben Bridge here in downtown is the only Rolex in town. And here is the famous monorail that runs along 5th Avenue. It's not that useful. I lived on its path and I used it only for tourist activities. So we got across town walking without much trouble. Like you got to keep your head about you, but not too bad. I wouldn't recommend any tourists do it. I mean, while I am just quote unquote visiting, you have to understand that I've lived in this city for longer than any other city I lived in as an adult. I don't recommend it if you have to take care of a kid. Um, that's what really got me to leave was there was this crazy lady with literally a sword who crossed my path. You know, she got within striking distance of a sword, and I didn't even realize until she had already walked past. And man, she looked deranged. Whew. So here we are at Market House. It's been here forever, and they do on-premise corned beef. Okay, so Explorer 2. Uh, it's been good. You know, it doesn't stand out too much. I would say the Explorer 1, especially in 36 millimeters, still classy, still a little bit more versatile. But I wanted something that, screamed a little bit more sports. And it's still not a flashy piece, although it is white dial. It does pick up the summery vibes. I'd say, look, it's not ideal going in places like this where you might feel uncomfortable, something expensive. It's not ideal, but there's a question. It's sort of somewhere in around the Submariner territory. Now, most people would recognize the Submariner as being a more expensive watch. You know, it's a little more flashy, the ceramic bezel and everything, the coinage. Well, I don't think it's actually usually called a coinage, but the bezel, the way that it's cut, picks up a lot of light. And but the thing that the Submariner has going for it, where so in terms of under the radar, I'd put these at sort of the same level, is that the Submariner is just such an iconic design. It's often replicated, so it's very, very easy to ignore. You know what I mean? It's just such an iconic design. It's easily ignored. Especially it's context dependent. It's easily ignored. I think another thing that works with Explorer 2, though, is that it's actually slightly bigger, right? 42 millimeter. And I wouldn't say it wears smaller than 42, and I wouldn't say it wears bigger than 42. It's 42 millimeters. And typically, a bigger watch is not an expensive watch. You know what I mean? It tends to be a fashion watch. So, all things being equal, I'd say they're in the same territory in terms of whether or not they're under the radar. But here's a little thing that I picked up on that I think is interesting, and that is that the Hulk, despite being, completely peacock and ridiculous, the green Submariner, the fact that it's got a color on it doesn't, I think to a normie, it's not a big deal. It actually implies it's more of a fashion watch than not. So it's actually even more likely that it's a fashion watch and nothing special. So in reality, I'd rate the Hulk as well, despite being, you know, what it is, quote unquote. I think it's somewhere around the same territory as a Black Sub, as an Explorer 2 in terms of flashiness. Look at that. That's like a few times you actually want to be around in Seattle is when the weather's good like this. There's really not much comparable apart from maybe the south of France. Just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you know, these 2 trips to Seattle, I gotta say, I'm a lot more comfortable with this place than I thought I would be. I have not seen anywhere near the level of despicable, disgusting, awful things that, you know, caused me to leave this place. You know, I'm seeing a lot of things that I really did enjoy. I just wish I had time to play golf. Jeez, why am I working? Huh. But if I'm not working, why would I be here? I was explaining to my friends over lunch that, you know, public transport does work here in Seattle, but the shorter the distance, the less it makes sense. So unfortunately, like getting between around downtown, it works on paper, but more often than not, if you're able-bodied, just walking is more predictable. Not necessarily faster, but often more predictable. And you know what? For all it's worth, it's not a boring walk. However you want to say it, it's not a boring walk. But the longer distance, like if you're traveling into suburbs like Ballard and stuff like that, the inner city suburbs of Seattle, then it for sure makes sense. Okay, never done this before, but I'm gonna be taking the train to the train station. Never done that, we'll see. I've heard it's pretty reliable, so. Oh man, I'm missing out on getting a big bag of dicks. Damn it. Okay, well on this side, it's almost like there's more workers than there are passengers. So they're keeping things a little cleaner, I guess. Okay, I'll take a moment. I've got the platform to myself. So Explorer 2, it's worked out pretty well. You know, not perfect. I would still keep something covered up here and there, but I didn't really feel like I needed to cover it up that much, except in like some of the worst areas of Capitol Hill. Everything else, like even public transport, like this one guy over here harassing someone, making someone feel uncomfortable, not good, but yeah. Feel sorry for this poor girl over here. Oh gee. So that's what you can kind of expect, you know, if you're not used to that sort of thing, or you might be a woman, it might not be as comfortable for you. Okay, so I'm home, not quite as exhausted as last time. Explorer 2 was lovely, you know. Also, from Prime Day, I got one of these Q Watches watch rolls. They have the best actual cushions, the M cushion. Anyway, real review coming up. Like and subscribe for that. And until next time, see you around.